But her emails, her emails. For those of you who may not have been around or don't know a whole lot about the 2016 election and the fact that they discovered Hillary Clinton was accessing emails on an unsecured server at her home. This apparently is a big no-no because, of course, then everything that she's talking about can be intercepted and the information can be shared with our enemies, or sorry, the US enemies, etc. And hay was made of it. Let's just put it that way. So I want to share something with you. This is what Donald Trump and his running mate had to say about this situation when it happened in 2016.
The system is rigged when Hillary Clinton is allowed to run for president, because what she did is criminal. What she did is General Cartwright is potentially going to serve 5 years in jail for doing nothing by comparison to what she did. The system is rigged when she's allowed to run, because she has done many criminal acts. She's not allowed to run. She is not allowed to be running in this election. And the FBI rolled over.
Okay, you get the gist. It was the worst thing that ever happened, and she's a criminal and she should be jailed, and et cetera, et cetera. So we got that. So then along comes 2025. Oh, and by the way, I just wanted to share in the research for this, I found some interesting information. Apparently, they, in hindsight, did a research or one thing that I found kind of interesting in my research was that they did some investigation post scandal, etc., into the media coverage on the scandal around the emails. They discovered that in the New York Times, the coverage on the Hillary Clinton email scandal over the course of 6 days, so just 6 days, they took a look at all the coverage that the New York Times made around the emails. They found that it was 6 times the amount of coverage that the New York Times had placed on policy for the 69 days leading up to the election. 69 days, you combine all of the coverage on policy in the middle of an election, and it was less coverage by magnitude of 6 times. So that's how big of a scandal it was at that time. So, of course, then that means that Trump and all of the Republican Party must be really, really upset. They must be just beside themselves because they know what a big deal this is. So this is what Trump had to say about the scandal that rocks the party, his party, and how really, really upset he must be because it's a huge, huge issue.
Top cabinet officials and aides have been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of the Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Right. Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about.
Sorry, I cut him off a bit early there. He goes on to say that you're telling me about this now. So he knew nothing about it up until when the reporter asked him the question. You know, it's really frustrating how partisan politics in the state, well, in not just in the United States, but how partisan politics has gotten. And when two virtually the identical situations happen, and there are two such completely different responses to it, instead of saying, oh my God, this is horrible, let's take care of this, they're saying the Atlantic is a terrible rag of a newspaper. Oh, and also, the members of Trump's team also said that the journalist was a sleazeball and a has-been who spreads lies, etc. That was before they came out saying, well, actually, yeah, it is true that did happen. And so, yeah, her emails, but her emails.